Tea time with Runepest.
Shift here for the last 20 some minutes here and talk about the balance changes and the patch that just hit. We're not going to be talking about the 2v2 event because I haven't played the 2v2 event. I've watched some people play it yesterday. I don't think Tempest has played the 2v2 event. We're planning to do some streaming of the 2v2 event next week. But we saw some balance changes come down the patch. I think there are 8 cards that got changed. What are your thoughts on what we saw? Other than we are shocked that Believer didn't get hit.
Yeah, that's the saddest part. But the changes are good. Wait, I'm hearing some kind of echo. Are we having technical issues?
I don't hear it.
Anyway, the changes are all good, although the changes to yellow cards seem so small. It's like ridiculously. Like it's obviously better that there's weaker, even though it's trivial. But
Yeah, I mean, I think
the
the change to Magpie is a big change. So like,
yeah, Magpie is a good change. Yeah, like all the changes are good. I just feel the Thunderbird and Grit Instructor are like, it's almost like if they haven't been changed. So they're just pretending to be changed.
But because like now yellow doesn't have like 11 busted one drops, it makes a huge difference. Right now it has 8 or 7 busted one drops, right? That you can play with, and I don't even consider egg that busted, but it is on turn 1. So you have less amount, and so it alters the way that you want to, I think, play the deck a little bit. So I'll be really interested to see, like, how this deck changes, because I have a feeling both mono red or even mono or close heavier red with a little bit of yellow is better than what we were seeing for a while. It was heavy yellow with a little bit of purple or a little bit of red. I think that's going to change. Like the reason you play yellow now is for some of these one drops like egg and doper, and also for Insta Beast. So like those are the yellow cards that you kind of want in there, and maybe Grit Instructor too, more than anything else. We'll see, but it's not as heavy yellow, I think, going forward as it was. But I agree. Like Grit Instructor's change doesn't really do much of anything. Doesn't move the needle. Eggs doesn't do that much. It saves a life. But I do think the change to the Triforge Troopers will affect things too, right?
Oh yeah, I was actually thinking about it. It maybe even seems like a buff to me.
It's a buff into non-super aggro decks, right?
No, but it doesn't die to X-Men anymore.
It doesn't die to X-Men anymore, but it doesn't push 3 damage. It only pushes 2.
But what would you prefer? I would prefer pushing 2 damage and not dying to X-Men.
I don't know. I think it's a slight nerf to super aggro and a buff to everything else. So, yeah.
Yep. I was hoping when I first saw the change, I was so happy because I saw the trooper, and I saw the 1 mana cost, and I thought it would actually cost 1 mana, and then anyone chat explained to me like, yeah, it still costs 0.
Still costs 0.
Yeah, like, no.
Yeah. I think the change to the Bolshoi Constructor doesn't really do anything. Like, I don't think the health limit on the Bolshoi really makes that big of a difference. Maybe it makes a difference 1 out of every 20 games, maybe. But to one of them, I don't think that mattered at all, personally.
I actually thought that I would kind of have preferred the durability of the Constructor to go to 4, and then I just suddenly saw they decided to tone it down to 6. I was like, oh, okay. So that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah. And then we got some buffs that are meaningless buffs in this patch, right? Head of Family, Lady in the Water.
Head of Family. It's like giving Sapo piercing. It's just like, why?
Head of Family.
That makes more sense. Then it would be a more relevant buff than the Head of Family. Yeah, that was.
Head of Family and Lady in the Water. Neither of those things move the needle at all. Like the that's fine. Like they don't need to be great. Like you can't make Lady in the Water too great, so it's got to be a kind of a meme card. I feel like the last thing Yellow needs is another amazing mythic. So like that's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I found the saltwater Empusa kind of interesting. I may even want to play her now. I kind of like that change.
yep, she went from a 3/3 to a 3/5, so that's a big, you know, ability to be able to use her transform if it's not forged.
I'm not
That'll
sure if
kind
the
of
card is going to prove to be a problem, but it definitely is an interesting card. And
it is. It is. That's one of the buffs that I think there are 3 buffs that are meaningful. And saltwater is one of the buffs that are meaningful. Um,
yeah,
Mimir,
yeah.
and then also the documentarian, right? I think those are the 3 that were actually going to make a big difference. Mimir could sneak into my top 10 blue cards if I can find a way to, make a blue deck that's actually any good. But that's not Mimir's fault. That's just blue right now. Mimir got an
Well, you
extra
have a
pack.
blue deck that's good. I have it. It's called Super Slides.
Mimir got an extra attack, but the more important thing to me is that its second ability does no longer cost 2; it only costs 1, which then brands the opponent with banish each enemy card they draw beyond their first in a turn until sunrise. And so, anytime you know your opponent is going to be drawing, 2 cards, Mimir stops them from getting that second card. So
Which is
Colosseum,
always if they're yellow.
Season, whatever, right? Lots of things draw you cards, and you can know ahead of time. This will stop their drawing of those cards. Yeah. So, yeah. I think it's a good card. I think Member is a good card. I just don't know how to fit it into blue. It also still irks me to no end that it doesn't have the legendary tag. Like, this is a legendary dude with all of his abilities, and it's not a legendary undead rebel. It drives me crazy. But whatever.
He's
And then,
semi-legendary. He needs to get there.
yes. And then I think we get the biggest push, right? The war documentarian. Like, I think this card is borderline between A and S tier. Like, it is bonkers good. It's got great stats for a 2-drop as a 1/4. Hard to kill. Really hard to kill on the turn it is. So if you play it when something is going to die, you're going to get at least 1 spell out of it more likely than not. And possibly if you can keep it alive, you can get 2 spells or 2 cards back.
It does seem really good. Although again, needs slightly more testing. I just might as well go and say it. I don't want to say it, but someone's gonna figure it out. It's not really that hard. But I feel like in red green it could probably be insane. And
Red,
we could
green, and red, yellow.
and we could see maybe a broken thing meta. Oh god. Oh no, not again.
Can't touch it. But no, this card is just gonna push the decks we don't want to push, right? We don't want to see any green, yellow, or any green, red pushed any further than they are. And I think this card will love both, but it will also find a home in your mono green deck, I think.
Yeah.
And that will be nice, right?
Yeah. I have like some things I could try with. Again, I you left, but like that super slide deck has such a big win rate. I don't know.
I don't know how you win with that deck, but you have a magical ability to always go Magnus by turn 5. Like, we were watching your games, and like you played like 12 games, and like 11 out of 12 you had Magnus by turn 5. And in all 11 games you won because you had Magnus, not because you had Earthslide.
It's a good card. Why wouldn't you draw it in turn 5? What's wrong with you?
So let's be clear. Your Earthslide deck wins because you have the magical ability to draw Magnus by turn 5. That's why that deck wins.
Well, why didn't you draw it in turn 5?
I don't know. It's just your magical ability. It's like before when you had that stupid Murmur deck where like you had like 4 green cards and like somehow you were always able with your 4 green cards to get Murmur and be able to play it like every time with the Murmur Splash. And then I give you like this 80 card deck to play with, which was Snarks and Red O put together, Stonks and Red O put together, and somehow with an 80 card deck, you got Angel on Hades in an 80 card deck. Like your ability to draw busted Mythics on curve, no matter what deck you're playing, and be able to play it is magical. Like, and therefore, nothing should be judged by
You
your
you
ability to do that.
you do realize I played like 2,000 and
Doesn't
something
matter.
hours, and then
It,
you like pick one of games and like yeah. So what about the game today when I had like 19 or 16 1 and 2 drops and I got nothing on turn 1 and 2? What about that? Nah.
you know
No,
what? I
let's
didn't see that
remember
game.
that game.
I didn't see it. It didn't exist.
Yeah,
Like, I
sure.
don't believe you. Yeah.
Or when I played Reanimator 5 times in a row and they never got Necromantic, like no, it's fine.
Anyway, those are the card changes that came by. I think we'll see Documentarian a lot. The card was really good before. We just didn't see it play. Maybe it wasn't really good. It was good. Now it's like almost busted good, I
What
think.
are you talking about? The Documentarian was like
I
God.
think it was better than we thought it was, to be honest. Like I do. But just needed the right deck. Now it just fits in everything. Like it's just an auto include in every green deck. If you're playing green, you play 2 Documentarians, in my opinion.
Just
We
needed
also
the right
got some news yesterday.
That's what she
Moving
said.
on about the tournament series. So we're going to show Tempest something for the very first time because we know how much Tempest is on top of anything Rhino related. Here is the competitive roadmap. So feast your eyes, Tempest. Feast your eyes.
Okay.
We have what
My
is
my eyes are feasted.
what is ahead, and that is every 2 months. It looks like starting in March, we will have an official end of season tournament that will be for the cash prizes that will help us get into that world. That world looks like it's going to be taking place on Christmas or maybe New Year's. I don't know. At the end of the year when everybody has tons of time to play card games. It seems a little weird to me, but whatever. That's what's going to happen.
What? What? What is happening here?
But it's exciting to see a roadmap. Like I want to see dates. Like
Hello, little Jenny. What can you tell us about December? Well, it's a time when everyone has a lot of time to play card games. Oh, yeah, correct. That is what December is all about.
exactly. I want to see dates. Like to me, it's tragic. That they don't have like the exact date that Worlds is going to be. Like you don't have to get all these dates right now, but like whenever Worlds is going to be, like that date needs to be set. That needs to be on the calendar. That needs to be like a year in advance.
Why does it matter? It's in December. Come on.
Because people have jobs, people have things to do. Like people need their plan. Like
But not on December, Ron. Come on.
yeah, I know, right? That's right. It's just December. Take it off the whole month. December. The world.
You'll
Gone.
always have time for card games on December.
Nothing happens in December. So yeah.
Oh,
But
God.
like I want like come on, Rhinos. Give us dates for the first one, like in March. Give us dates for the second one in May, and give us World. Give us 3 months in advance for the tournaments. Because you know what? We have things to do, especially if they're gonna be 2-day tournaments. Like give us dates. Or lots of people aren't gonna be able to play in them and enjoy them, and it's not gonna do what you want it to do. So yeah. I'm excited though to see the roadmap. Like
The Runepest podcast demands dates. Do it.
we need uh, we need roadmaps. I mean, the website still has roadmap from 2020 that's way out of date. So I'm glad we're getting to see some sort of competitive roadmap. But I need to see dates. So that's my thought on that. Any thoughts from you on that?
Oh yeah, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, the funny. I know I can't play day twos. That's it. Yep. Peace out. All right. And then we had a huge announcement that came out of absolutely nowhere. And that is they're giving the core away.
To whom?
completely away over the next couple of weeks. There's gonna be 6 codes or something. I don't even. It mind boggles me so much that what's going on. They're giving 6 codes, and each code will unlock a color, and you will get access to all cards in that color for core permanently. Like, I'm stunned. Like, I don't know about you. I know you are laissez-faire. You don't care about anything. You haven't spent a penny on Mythgard. You won't spend a penny on Mythgard. Like, cheapo Tempest rules. Like, Tempest spends money on alcohol and alcohol. Like, that's it. Like, that's Tempest budget, 100%. But for people who spent hundreds of dollars on core cards, which there's a lot of people out
With
there,
friends like this, who needs enemies, huh? Hey, Ron, do you see what I'm doing?
their collection is just as much as anybody else that gets all the cards for free. And it's not like, I don't know. I'm pretty upset about it, as you can tell. Like, it's not like core is irrelevant, right? I went through our cards, and like in our top 60 cards, like about 2/3 of them were core cards, and about 60% of the game's cards total are core cards. So you have to do absolutely nothing to get access to 60% of the cards. And the Rhinos aren't even giving you something if you already have those cards. Like, the Rhinos could do something to be like, hey, let's help out these old players who already have these cards, who've worked for them, who've paid for them. But we've seen nothing along those lines. I don't know.
Are
I'm
you
pretty worked
try?
out by this game.
I'm kind of thinking here, but are you trying to look like Mennonite Wolverine?
If my claws could come out right now, they would. Yes.
Hmm.
They have to do something though to help those who have a full collection and have worked and spent thousands of hours. Tippers, you've played this game for 3,000 hours almost to get your set, to get your cards, right?
Yep.
Um, give them
Probably.
something for the people who have either spent thousands of hours
I
grueling
want
to get the cards
I
or
want a shirt. I spent 3,000 hours on this game, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt, and I just.
I mean, Ejecti did. He wailed. He spent hundreds of dollars to get that core set. Like, this is a reoccurring problem that we've seen over the last 6 months to a year. The Rhinos seem to favor attracting new players at the expense of old players. And I'm perfectly fine if they want to attract new players. Like, but they can't do it at the expense of old players. If this is what they need to do, then fine, you do it. But then you find a way to appease old players and,
Peace
maybe
the
even
old
get some
gods.
brand new alt art, whatever. Or maybe, I don't know whatever they do, but they got to do something. They got to do something to appease the older players. Or again, it feels like the Rhinos
Peace
just
the
don't
old
care
gods.
about the people who've put in thousands of hours and time to build this community and care deeply about this game to make it succeed. And that's what it feels like to me right now. Is like they just don't care.
They love it.
Yeah.
I like how you use the word appease. That sounds so powerful. Peace the old gods. Peace them.
You gotta do something though. Anyway, I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah.
I don't know. And then they're gonna have to do something too, because like, and there's lots of ramifications, but I'm sure they haven't even thought through, right? Like, all of the current um quests, they only give core cards. Like, that makes no sense if everybody's getting core cards. Your daily cards are core cards, which makes no sense, right? If you get all the core cards, all of the packs and the things you get for your levels are related to core cards. The map too. So like, collecting core cards is an integral part of the game's economy and way it's set up. Um, and they're just saying we're just completely shifting. And the first time I heard about it was on some stream that lasted 20 minutes. Like, it's bonkers to me. Like, it was just bonkers. The whole thing, it made me very upset. And I've calmed down. Like, you think I was at 100 right now? Like, I was at 300 or 400 yesterday. Like, I've calmed down a little bit and said whatever. Like, I have my own decisions to make, but I cannot for the life of me understand.
I've
this
seen
decision.
other card games doing stuff like this. Well, not like this, but decisions to help newer players when the sets kind of grow too much. But never really have I seen anyone just giving away an entire set, right? Usually they would give you like a mythic, one or two mythics, maybe like a mythic wild card, whatever. Just some kind of progression system. But yeah, this is kind of interesting. I don't know.
Totally would be fine with that. It could give away a couple extra mythics. I mean, whatever. Find ways to attract new players. Do what you have to do. But this just reeks to me of desperation. Like, maybe it's not. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a rhino. I don't want to be a rhino. But like, yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm frustrated, and um, and it's sad because I've seen this coming down the pike. Like, a lot of the players who I love, who no longer play this game anymore, have left because of reasons they just didn't feel like they were respecting people who've been around for very long. And this just seems to confirm so many people who still follow us and still are part of this chat and our community, what they've been saying for the last 6 months or so. So yeah, you don't need many E1 and E2 cards for meta decks. I mean, you're talking a few mythics and a couple commons. And like Eagle says, like, I'm not going to spend another cent. And like, I can't blame people in chat. They're saying I'm not going to spend another cent because people literally are still spending money to buy core cards and just did so like in the last week. And they're just like, oh man, glad I did that. Yeah. Yeah, there's so yeah.
I'm glad I did that. That's
Anyway, that being said, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna stay here in the Mythgard community. I love Mythgard. I love playing. I love the community. I'm excited for this 2v2 event. I want to, last time we barely ever lost. I queued in the wrong deck. We lost twice, one of which because I queued in the wrong deck. I want to see us decimate 2v2 and put everybody on notice that they're not beating the Runepest come Monday. So we are going to take 2v2 by storm once again. So I'm glad you're my Valentine, and I'm glad I can start buying you gifts because that's what we need in our relationship.
I feel weirded out. At least shave your buttons.
Yeah, Fires is so good at this event too. Absolutely. Any parting words? We're an hour here. Anything you want to share to the viewers? Any love for me or Ajecti or for anybody else?
Believer sucks.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And for those at home who haven't noticed, Tempest has a new plant. You can kind of see the leaves there in the back. Tempest replaced his plant and is trying again. And we're going to see if Tempest can be a responsible adult and keep that plant alive. So next tea time, we'll find out if the plant is still living.
Plant was so old, dude. You're saying, come on. Jesus Christ.
Oh, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll be back in a couple weeks. We're going to be playing some 2v2 this week. Check us out. Tempest, I'll check you out on stream if you stream later today. If not, I'll probably be streaming tomorrow because what else do you have to do? See you, everyone.
Tea time with Runepest.